Hello, welcome to Hats and Guitars once again. I'm Kevin, and this is my bedroom studio. I'm on hiatus from the hat shop now since March. Because of the quarantine, I've chosen not to come in until we feel it's safe. And I'm here to tell you whatever I can that's inside of my brain from my 25 years at the New York's oldest hat shop. Try to get it from this brain into yours. So we'll try to think if there's any other things that are still locked in here that need to filter out through the internet into your mind. We'll try to cover everything I know. You guys will know by the end of this series. I want to talk a little bit more about brim size. I think that's something that you can't really breeze through. It's almost like it's one of the most important things when it comes to buying a fedora. Brim size is kind of like everything. I'm wearing a 3-inch brim now. It's actually a kind of a smallish 3. It's a little below 3. It's like a 2 3/4 to 3. Something like that. Maybe 2 3/4, 2 7/8. But that's a very full brim. I can handle it because of all this bushy, the mane of hair. It's almost like a lion's mane around my head, so it's like it's how big of a target you're covering, So, you've got this little oval here, my face, but in reality, it's not really just that, is it? It's all of this. It's my head, So, I want to cover that in a way that looks balanced, even, or at least cool to the wearer, Brim size, it's like a composition between how wide this is and your face width, shoulder width, all that stuff, If you're a big guy, shoulders out to here, taller, you're going to require a bigger hat. It's just like a small target, a big target, It's all kind of relative. It's like scaled up and scaled down, So, each person can wear different brims, but skinny person, fat person, big person, person in the middle, but each brim is going to give you a different image, in other words. So let's say, okay, the 2-inch brim is what Sinatra wore, okay? Just as a basic kind of a primer. 2-inch brim is Sinatra. Okay, 2.5-inch is Bogart. So if we get back to, let's get back to this one. Here's your 2-inch brim. Here's your 2.5. Okay, I'm going to say 2 3/8. 2 3/8, 2.5. That whole area right there. That's more like a fuller kind of a film noir, gangstery, over the eye, full hat like this. 2.5, 2 3/8. Going down to a smaller brim is a little bit more authentic, a little bit more gentlemanly. It's kind of like, when I was young, if you saw an older man wearing a hat, it would be a 2-inch. It wouldn't be a 2.5. 2.5 was like, it's a gangster hat, or it's Indiana Jones. It's a little overdone. It's a little costumey. It's a little too much. The 2 was understated, dressy, not too much. Didn't look 40s or gangster. It just looked gentlemanly and looked the way it should, like a proper little, hat. A 2-inch brim. It's like the classic brim, where 2.5 is, or 2.5, 2 3/8 is a little, laying it on a little thicker, like a Whippet or a teardrop 40s hat, the Hamilton, the Style Master, even a Temple. That's more 40s or more gangster or 30s, like a period kind of thing. But when you start getting into the 2, it's a little less Maltese Falcon, less Indiana Jones, less Private Eye, less detective, and it's a little bit more just gentleman. The 2-inch brim is like that. Remember, 2-inch brim is what Sinatra wore. Okay, 2.5 was the Bogart. Okay, this in reality is a little more than a 2. It's like a 2.25 or something because it's a huge, huge 2. It's very oversized on me. So since it's such a big, big size, everything is scaled up. The difference between a 6 and 7/8 size small and 7 3/4 double X, the brims are different. The brim gets bigger, bigger, bigger. The crown gets higher, wider. So it's scaled up and down. People don't realize that. When you buy a 6 and 7/8, a size small or a double X, the brim sizes are different. So when you start measuring brims and they're not exactly what the catalog says, or they're not exactly what the website says, oh, that's a typo. It's not always a typo. Sometimes it's your size. If you're not like a real average size, if you're slightly smaller, slightly bigger, it's going to affect that brim size. Not every hat, but they use different molds. They have like maybe a small one, a medium one, and a large one, and they might even have 2 sometimes, a big brim and a regular brim, and they work with that, the different brims. But a lot of times, yeah, there'll be different lengths in one style. So just a little food for thought there, All right. So let's get back to the brim sizes. The first thing you want to do is really determine what brim size you want to go for. I'm not going to say that there's a brim size for each guy. That's just not right. There are multiple brim sizes for each person. It's not like, what is the right brim size for me? That doesn't really make that much sense. There really isn't one brim size just for each person, because each brim size will give you like a different image kind of thing. So you'll have your 2-inch brim. Let's say you have a face like mine. A 2-inch might give you your Sinatra look. Your 2.5-inch will give it that, the other look, like Indiana Jones look, something like that. And your 3-inch brim will give you your, this oversized, modern kind of 2020 look, which is like this sort of modern thing. Here's a 3-inch brim. They put out a different image, and it's up to you to design the look for yourself. It sounds like a little, like, oh, we're going to design a look for yourself. No, we're totally going to reinvent you, okay? It sounds like that, but everybody does it. All right, come on. We all do it. You decided to be a bearded guy wearing a flannel shirt and an old, Levi's jacket. Or you've decided to be a skinny rock dude with like skinny black pants and a t-shirt and a funky hat and a guitar. Everybody's got their look, and we all design our own look, whether we admit it or not. Even the person who says, oh, well, I'm not really into my look, I just wear stuff that's comfortable, like me. Okay, well, we all choose a color, right? And I choose my cotton t-shirts. I wear pretty generic, cotton t-shirts. When everything I wear has to be a regular t-shirt, cotton. Usually I used to pick all black, and then I started thinking, okay, I gotta get some colors. So I started getting like charcoal gray and black, and after that I was like, okay, I like green, and then I started getting some green shirts, and I broke out. I started getting a few colors. I got a green shirt, I got some white ones. I didn't care for the white ones that much. I got some some red t-shirts, some green t-shirts. I didn't like purple on me, but I kind of liked olive green and green a little bit. It's like colors that I can tolerate, because they're pleasant colors to me. But I'm like that. I'm a person who just wants to wear, pants that are comfortable with like some kind of drawstring or something, a cotton t-shirt in size large, not a medium, even though I could wear a medium probably. I wear it in a large. And I'm like a comfortable guy. I wear like Nike running shoes. I try to get like the most comfortable running shoes I could get, like some, really padded type or something. So I consider myself sort of a pragmatic guy, but yeah, I'm not, I've got this style, this, skinny black jeans with the t-shirt, and you can see there's certain colors I like that I repeat. We all do it. Everybody does it, whether you think, yeah, I'm just a guy who lays in bed and I order cotton t-shirts off Amazon. I'm not like really a shopper, I'm not, well, everybody does it. So when you're designing this look for you with your hat, it's the difference between you looking like super smooth, like you walk into a place with your like, I don't know, your Whiskey Madrid or your Plum Madrid, and people are like, whoa, look at that guy, that looks all custom. That guy's like all custom now. I bet he had that suit made for him, right? Look at that hat, dude, look at the color of it, dude's like, it's like one of those things. People look at you and they think, yeah, this guy's like got some cool stuff. It's like every hat you wear generates a response, I guess. If you wear something with a 2-inch brim in black, it might be a little bit more understated. But it's still cool in its own way. I mean, let's face it, any fedora is cool. Or it could also be like equally as nerdy and messed up too, Try not to overdo it, and that's my thoughts. Says the guy who wears like bright green and hot pink wide brim pimp hats, right? Don't overdo it. But yeah, don't let the hat wear you. Don't be like, oh, did he bring the hat? The hat guy is here. Oh boy. Yeah, let it be just part of you and stuff, and kind of mix in, accentuate. I like to think it's like if you're a hot fudge sundae, that's the cherry on the sundae. It just like tops it off. It makes your outfit look like just better. You know what I'm saying? That's what a hat should do. It doesn't matter what kind of hat it is. You should be comfortable in it. You're wearing a cool angle. You're standing a little different when you got it. You should like it, and it should put out the image that you're focusing in on. I might think, okay, I got my same stupid oversized brim up thing. It's almost like, to me, it's like the hat version of a baggy sweatshirt, but what it really does is it takes my baggy sweatshirt dad outfit and it elevates it to something that almost looks like I have a tiny bit of style. It's funny, one time when I was running our small shop, we had a satellite store called Pork Pie Hatters. And if you look at some of my oldest videos, you go to the very first ones, they're real amateurish, and they're done on my cell phone like the wrong way, like the little strip with the black on the sides, and they put like, letters and fonts flashing on it with the phone number, it's like really bad, like a bad, like, commercial, like, and, yeah, they were really bad. But when you look at that shop, Pork Pie Hatters, it's interesting. There was one time, sorry, I'm just listening to outside my door, there's some noise. One time in the shop, there used to be a guy who would drop by. He was a pastor. Yeah, one of those guys from like a church, and I used to donate stuff to the church. Sometimes we want to get rid of something, something big. They would come with their van and they would pick it up. And one time we were cleaning out the basement, and I had a few boxes of old hats. They were like old and dusty, and not like They weren't messed up or ripped or like stained or dirty or anything like that, but they were really dusty, and each hat had to be gone through and, dusted and taped down and this and that. But, under the dust, each hat was perfect pretty much, and not every single hat was dusty. Some of them were just like, a little dusty or a tiny bit crushed. But we had like dozens of them, dozens and dozens, and they were cheap hats, like super cheap stuff from when the store first opened, and we decided we wanted to donate them. So I called up this guy, and he came in. He was super cool. I donated all these hats to him, and then I said a lot of these were like straw hats, and they're like felt hats and stuff. They're kind of dressy stuff. Do the homeless really need that? And he said to me, actually, the last time you gave it to us, they went over so well. Everybody loved them. They were like, asking for more and this and that. He said that everybody deserves some dignity. Even a homeless person who is like got no money for food, no money for a house or anything. They deserve dignity, and they want to look smooth too. Why not, right? Everybody could just be one paycheck away from being homeless. You never know when you look at somebody. But I thought that was cool when he said that. Everybody wants that dignity. Sometimes I look at myself with this guitar and I'm like, what a douche. Look like that Huckabee dude when he had the bass. Like. Anybody who's like hosting a show or something that has like an electric instrument strapped onto them, even like a guitar, they instantly look douchey. It's like, okay, now we're gonna sing your folk song. It's just like you expect them to come out with something really douchey because they have a guitar strapped onto them. It's funny. So I started becoming really self-conscious of that a few videos back. Okay, on that note, let's get off the tangent and let's get back to brim size, okay? Brim size is going to be not one brim size for you. It's going to be what brim size is going to give me what look, okay? Do I want to get the short brim Sinatra look? The kind of short brim, over one eye, kind of cool, cool guy with like a little bit of pizzazz that's not overdoing it, Do I want to be that guy? Do I want to be the guy with the bigger brim, which can border on being a little bit douchey, but also can look, really cool too? It can look Indiana Jonesy if you're into that kind of like, I'm that rugged guy who wears a leather jacket and, rugged dude. That's a nice look. Wearing a leather jacket or something a little bit outdoorsy with a fedora in an earthy color, especially with the brim down. Maybe not the feather, okay. But it's cool. I like it. Wearing the back up also. It's kind of like, honey, I'm home. It's like a dad hat, but it goes with your leather jacket, it goes with your sweaters, your jeans and stuff, without you looking completely like, I don't know, it doesn't look like a Wall Streeter's hat or something really, really dressy. So stuff like this, I definitely approve of that look. I like the wide brims. I'm a wide brim guy too. I like the wide brim up thing, which to me was always kind of like a cool player look, like a 70s player look maybe, Ohio Players or something. I think it's a cool look. I always liked when the jazz musicians wore their brims up. The blues and the jazz guys, but mostly the jazz guys like Monk. When you look at old photos of Monk wearing a hat, just looks incredible. Like he's not trying too hard. It's not like he's trying to be like, hey, I got my Deuce Trace and my this and that and my Gangster Lena. It's just like he's just got it on. He's just playing. But, he doesn't do this, He doesn't bother. It's just laid back and cool and small and smooth. So, a lot of it has to do with the target that you're covering up. if you're a guy like Monk who has, no hair, just kind of like a bald head or very, very short hair, crew cut or buzz cut or something like that, a small brim or a little tiny pork pie is very, very doable. Because, you've got just a smaller, bald kind of target, smaller head. It's a composition. So you're looking at the size of what I'm covering up here, my head, my hair, compared to this brim. Actually, I look at the crown too, but I look at everything, almost like a big shape. How far it's sticking out on the side, and I kind of stare at it. Almost like I let my, sort of squint at it, and I let my eyes kind of go out of focus a little bit. I look in the mirror and say, how does this silhouette look? And it actually looks very comfortable to me, from an artistic point of view. There's a good composition there. I like the fact that, there's lots of hair going on here, and there's a big enough brim to kind of even it out, but not so far where it's going to start looking into the rabbinical realm. That's the other thing. There are certain stereotypes associated with brim sizes. Like a teeny tiny brim can look overly conservative. It can make you look old, too old, like an old man's hat. It's kind of like too conservative, too elderly looking. You don't want to go too small. If you're like an older man, a bigger brim can kind of make you look younger, okay? It's a younger thing. But, it depends. You got to try different things. Maybe something like this, maybe a 3-inch brim, maybe, just slightly bigger. But in general, shorter brims will read more conservative. When a young punk, wears a little old man hat, it looks different on him. It looks punky and ironic. But when an older fellow wears a short brim, it starts to look like a little old man hat on them. So you got to watch that. Go 2-inch brim instead of 1.5. If you're like, yeah, I like small brims though. Well, instead of doing that, that Asher or something really small, think 2-inch. It's neat, and it worked really well for Sinatra. Sinatra had, whitish, gray hair, light eyes, light features, and that hat just looked like, hey, fly me to the moon, like super cool. He just looked like, the dude had swagger, and he looked dressy. I guess that was a time where the rock star still dressed dressy. He wasn't, like all casual. I guess that started happening after the Beatles or something, right? Because, yeah, the early Beatles actually wore suits and stuff. And a lot of the Motown groups back then, they wore matching suits. But I think in the mid-'60s, maybe Summer of Love or something, people started dressing more wild and colorful, and then jeans and all kinds of stuff, anything goes. So the whole dressy thing was still in back then, so people look cool yet dressy. And you can look cool yet dressy. You could do your brim up. You might be the type of guy where the brim look just looks better down on you. Maybe you try it and you're like, it looks like I'm trying to look like a teenager or something. You might just be cool, it doesn't matter how old you are. Maybe you're 79 years old and the brim just looks smooth up on you. Maybe down is more your speed. You can make things look cool with a little angle sometimes. You can make it look cool by just getting a cool style, or getting a little shorter brim or a little bigger brim. All sorts of cool styles and colors. You can experiment with that. I think going into a daring color is nice. Something like taupe is a great color. Whiskey, taupe, silver belly, anything a little daring, like a light blue. You could throw these colors on in situations you'd be surprised. You're wearing something like your jeans and your whatever, some nice outfit, but kind of casual. You throw that light blue hat on and it looks great. There are many situations where I put my green and black hat on, my Kelly green hats, and they look really nice when I'm dressed up, like kind of in all black or whatever I'm wearing. Black and gray, or, it doesn't matter. But sometimes a vivid color is so far from the colors that you're matching it to that they match, if that makes sense. Like, you know, you're wearing a Kelly green hat. It's so far, that Kelly green, from the colors you're trying to match up. You know, don't try to match that to an olive green, but try to match it to like black or something like that, you know, or gray, or, you know, just something totally out there that's just, you know, like maybe you got a navy outfit on. You'd be surprised. You put that little green on and it looks okay. Sometimes going with a bright color is it's a lot easier than you think. They sort of match almost anything. Not, you know, like sometimes, you know, whiskey can clash with like certain greens and stuff, but they match a lot of stuff. Like whiskey, that's a color that's just incredibly versatile. Whiskey will go with black, with earth tones, with brown, with tans. It goes nice with a gray outfit, with trench coats. It goes excellent with navy, charcoal, almost anything you can wear. You know, like even odd colors or more exotic colors, burgundy and purple. And so you put that hat on, it just always seems to like just win. Well, not always, but a lot of situations. So going daring with the color is something nice you can do, instead of getting daring with your brim. But be aware that different brim sizes are going to give you a different image. So, you know, a 3-inch brim right now is very modern. It's kind of like the current look, going like very oversized in a classic hat. It gives you a sometimes a certain laid-back quality. It looks casual yet sharp at the same time. It's hard to explain, but it's a new look. It's just a totally new look. If you're a wider guy, you know, a 3-inch brim is definitely going to work. I'm pretty skinny, but I'm also okay with like a very bold kind of, you know, out there look. So it's hard to say, but 3 is not a huge brim. You know, if you wear westerns or anything with a decent brim on it, it's not a huge brim. I like it. It's kind of like passing the douchey stage, like that that typical stereotypical fedora look. You know, there's like a 2.5-inch brim fedora look that's very stereotypical. So it's going beyond that, and it's taking you beyond Indiana Jones, and still, you know, still can be outdoorsy like this. You know, 3-inch brim, even more so, and it still can be dressy, and it still can be, you know, really fashionable, even more so. But it's an original shape, like a new look. I think I really do. I think it's a new, totally new kind of a thing. The 3-inch brim is, you didn't really see it much, you know. Give it a shot. The Madrid, I think, is half price still. I don't think it's always going to be half price. It's probably going to snap back to full price next time we order them.